All right, back at it. We continue on the earnings season roller coaster here with the SPY. We had the Meta gap down. Then we had the can't remember what went on in this here, but we had the rally back up. Then we had the Microsoft Google earnings where this now gapped back up over this previous kind of consolidation area between the 5 and the 508 neighborhood. So now we're we're starting to flirt with this crazy, everything goes up again type territory because we got Nvidia coming around, like I said, the Tesla, the Tesla also. So a lot of it's going to have to do with how these shake out for the next couple days, these big earnings. What was the other one? Google. So we need to keep an eye on these and keep an eye on the SPY. But in terms of day trade, short-term trades, I don't see the long side edge right now. It's just too much. If we look in from a day-to-day point of view, to me it looks like maybe a little proper sell-off would be nice here, but kind of depends on what we get for big picture news here. The big winner that I've been talking about, and it's just continued to produce, is this ZIM. This had a monster Friday. Just so I've now highlighted this for 3 buy zones. I've been talking about this since this zone here, back in the 418 area. So about 10 days. And we've had, let me get this in. We've had this beautiful move here. It looks a little condensed now because it's a little expanded, but we've had this nice move here. We had this nice move here that never actually played out. It was kind of a head fake here, and then a sell off. And then we had this nice move here on Friday, and it never looked back. This thing on the 3-day chart here, this 425 activity just exploded. And when I was looking through this through the action on Friday, I want to see, when you go to the big picture, there were some key levels that this was flirting with. I think it was this 12. Yeah, I think it was this in here. Weekly 1 year. It really had this key 1162. So if you go back in here on the 100 day, 1162 was right in this zone. So once it got past that, and you can see here, it was almost one of those plays that's so good that it never even, if you haven't bought it prior to the move, it's going to be tough because I feel like you're chasing. Yeah, this absolute monster. This had it all going on. It had the moving average kind of squeezer look right in here. This is textbook. Kind of pops out and holds it. Sometimes I like to see it kind of squeeze in there. This was more of a blow through and then a hold, but nevertheless still gave us a little more conviction. I don't think there was too much else though. Everything else kind of fell apart. It's been the CGC. The CGC was good for a few days last week in here and then in here. But now it's kind of getting a bit choppy, and it had this big spike here. I'm not sure what that was all about. But it kind of, you know, it had the big spike and now it's sold off. This is, for me, this is kind of a hold, a stand back and kind of see what happens for a few days. But like I've been saying, this has big picture potential because the cannabis sector can get really crazy. Also ACB too. These kind of go in tandem. Need some time though. Couple others. The DNUT, the Krispy Kreme. This one, I think I'm gonna be taking a long on this. I think I'm gonna try a day trade off this. What level was it? It was like this 1280. I mean, you can't not say that's a quality level to take an entry on. I mean, look at this wick in here with the beginning of this big volume. This 1280 zone, all these levels. And it's starting to hold this on the shorter time frames. If you look in at the 14-day here, we've held in this 1280 zone quite a bit. So I'm prepared to probably take a bounce long on this. It could kind of flush out one more time, given that since that 1280 zone is so clean and so clear, you may have to kind of factor in that they're gonna probably flush it under, and that's gonna cause that, because it's almost a too good to be true zone there. So I'm prepared for that. But regardless, as long as you respect your stop loss, you're okay. So that's an interesting one. ZIM, like I said, CGC. Like I said, there's not a whole ton of things that I have jumping off the page. Been looking at this Chewy. Sometimes what I want to see on these is just if maybe this is kind of rounding out with the moving averages, similar to that Zim trade. This Macy's, actually, I called for a short last week. Kind of working. Whoops. Kind of working. Also, got to keep an eye on the EV sector, like I said earlier. Tesla earnings. And now I'm looking at all these smaller names. This LCID looks kind of nice. RVIN. So that's another one. We're keeping an eye on that for potential big wave, big sector wave to the upside. I was talking about this Alt M. Looks good. Couple others. It's just gonna be a quick one. We gotta keep looking at BYND. Always just poke in on this. Another dead bottom play. Weekly 1 year. I mean, really something. RBLX, let's quickly take a walk through these big picture names. This is kind of similar to Krispy Kreme, where we're in a spot where it's very clear. It's very, as I say, see the trade. It's very clear to see a quality bottom support zone to put an entry on. Same thing here with the RBLX. And some might say this is a bit of a cup and handle, you know, through that, I think. So this is another one that I want to start. Maybe start with a day trade, working off these levels here. This, what do we got here? 34.18. So as you can see, this came in. I actually didn't notice this here, but this actually came into 33.74. So 34.18, the spot I called, almost dead bottom. So in terms of a day trade here, I'm just starting to see this right now actually. If this were to come in a little bit, sell off, and set up nicely on the 60-minute 14-day here, this, and then you're risking off this 34 zone, or this, if you want to be aggressive, this low of day, give it a little more extra wiggle room. This could be a potential play too. Kind of similar situation as DUNT, so I like that. I'm just thinking of that right as we speak here. So alright, well, a couple good ideas there. We're going to keep an eye on the earnings, see what these big, you know, see what SPY, see what NVIDIA, see what Tesla, see what all these big companies do, and then we will ride the wave. So we'll keep it rolling.